Every day, we wake up under the light of the sun. We feel its warmth on our skin, see its golden rays piercing through the leaves, reflecting off the shimmering water. The sun is always there. It has been present since the dawn of humanity, illuminating every chapter of civilization, bearing witness to every event on this planet. But have you ever stopped for a second and asked yourself, what is the sun? Really, a celestial lantern that burns eternally in the sky, a divine being that bestows life upon the earth, or a monstrous, raging inferno, one that silently consumes everything it was meant to protect? We see the sun every day, but does anyone truly understand it? From a distance, it appears calm, a perfect sphere glowing in the sky. But in reality, its surface is a roaring ocean of fire. Massive tornadoes of plasma rise and twist at hundreds of thousands of kilometers per hour. Towering flames, many times taller than the Earth itself, explode into space. Do you believe metals are strong? Iron, gold, aluminum, none of them stand a chance against the sun's wrath. They wouldn't just melt, they would vaporize instantly, long before reaching its surface. And that is only what lies on the outside. What is really happening inside the sun? At its core, the pressure is 265 billion times greater than Earth's atmosphere. The temperature, 15 million degrees Celsius. Here, hydrogen atoms are crushed together with such immense force that they merge, unleashing the energy of nuclear fusion, the same force that could annihilate entire planets. Every single second, the sun releases an unimaginable amount of energy equivalent to billions of hydrogen bombs exploding at once. Waves of radiation and charged particles surge into space and sometimes toward Earth. Have you ever seen the aurora? Those breathtaking waves of light that dance across the polar skies, they aren't just a beautiful spectacle. They are the aftermath of an invisible battle. Because when solar storms collide with Earth's magnetic field, they can disrupt radio signals, throw GPS systems into chaos, and even wipe out our entire electrical grid. In 1859, a solar storm known as the Carrington event crippled the world's telegraph network. If that were to happen today, no electricity, no internet, no satellites, no technology. In the blink of an eye, our world would plunge back into the pre-industrial era. And here's the problem. These storms are still happening. If the sun is so dangerous, why do we still exist? Because it is not just a destroyer. The sun is also a giver, the heartbeat of our solar system. Without it, there would be no Earth, no oceans, no forests, no life, no us. But what happens when the sun is no longer there? We assume the sun will always shine. But the truth is, nothing in the universe lasts forever. One day, its fuel will run out. It will change. And when the day comes, the world as we know it will cease to exist. When will it happen? Can we stop it? Or are we just tiny, helpless creatures, watching as our fate is sealed by the inevitable death of a star? There are mysteries about the sun that even science has yet to explain. Phenomena unfolding right before our eyes, yet still beyond our comprehension. Do you dare go deeper into this mystery? Because once you do, you will never look at the sky the same way again. There is something that has always been in the sky, shining down on us every single day without a hint of exhaustion. We look up at it, yet we do not feel the raging storm within. We bask in its warmth, unaware that even the slightest disturbance in its fiery heart can plunge our world into chaos. The sun, it is not a quiet lantern. It is an unceasing storm, a wild beast whose power lies beyond human comprehension. And sometimes it gets angry. Solar storms, when a star unleashes its fury. We have been conditioned to believe that the sun is a stable source of light. But in reality, this could not be further from the truth. Beneath its brilliant glow, the sun is an ever-changing, unpredictable sphere of energy. Boiling rivers of plasma twist and churn within it, warping into colossal magnetic loops. And when these loops become too tightly wound, they snap. Imagine an enormous rope being pulled to its absolute limit. The moment it can no longer withstand the strain, it snaps violently, unleashing every ounce of energy trapped within. This is a solar storm. Each time one erupts, It hurls an amount of energy equivalent to millions of nuclear bombs detonating simultaneously. Torrents of plasma and magnetic fields surge through space at millions of kilometers per hour. A cosmic tsunami sweeping away everything in its path. If one were to be directed at Earth, here is what would happen. Satellites would be destroyed or lose communication entirely. Radio waves would be disrupted, cutting off global communications. GPS systems would become wildly inaccurate, leaving aircraft, ships, and even military operations lost in confusion. Power grids would overload and burn out, sending modern civilization back to the pre-industrial era. And this isn't just theoretical, it has already happened before. The 1859 Carrington event, the most powerful solar storm in recorded history. In 1859, an immensely powerful solar storm struck Earth. Electromagnetic waves slammed into our planet, triggering auroras so intense that even the Caribbean could see the northern lights. But the beauty masked something terrifying. The entire global telegraph system was destroyed. Wires burst into flames. Telegraph operators were electrocuted just by touching their machines. Now imagine if the same event happened today, in a world completely dependent on technology. The 1989 Quebec blackout. A much smaller solar storm occurred in 1989, yet it was still enough to black out the entire province of Quebec, Canada, for 9 hours. More than 6 million people were thrown into darkness. The 2012 solar superstorm, a catastrophe that barely missed Earth. In 2012, a solar storm as powerful as the Carrington event erupted. By sheer luck, it was not aimed directly at Earth. Had it been just a fraction of a degree different, the world as we know it would no longer exist. Think about it. No electricity, no internet, no satellites, no GPS, no functioning banking systems. Modern civilization would have collapsed overnight. And here's what's even more terrifying. Solar storms are not a thing of the past. They are happening right now, at this very moment. We just haven't experienced a direct hit yet. The sun's unimaginable heat, when matter ceases to exist. Imagine standing at the edge of an erupting volcano. Lava cascades down the mountainside, glowing red hot, while waves of heat distort the air itself. You can feel the intensity, the raw power of it. It's almost unbearable. But in reality, it is nothing compared to the sun. The sun's surface, 60 degrees Celsius. At this temperature, aluminum, iron, gold, silver, everything evaporates instantly. No known material on Earth could survive direct contact. The sun's core, 15 million C, a temperature beyond the limits of human imagination. Atoms themselves are obliterated, reduced to a chaotic sea of superheated plasma. This is where nuclear fusion occurs, the process that has kept the sun burning for over 4.6 billion years. And here's the greatest paradox. Even though the surface of the sun burns at 60 degrees Celsius, the outer atmosphere, the corona, is hundreds of times hotter. Why? No one knows for sure. The sun, a giver of life, or a cosmic nightmare. We, as humans, have grown accustomed to its gentle warmth each morning. But in reality, it is a ticking time bomb. One strong solar storm, one unexpected fluctuation, and everything we have built could be wiped away in seconds. So what can we do? Can we protect the Earth from the sun's wrath? Or are we powerless, left to hope that the next solar storm misses its mark? These are the questions that humanity has yet to answer. And the most unsettling truth of all, the sun is not immortal. One day, it will change. It will no longer be the sun we know. And when the day comes, what will happen to Earth? The answer lies ahead, and it is not one we will like. For centuries, we have observed the sun. We have sent spacecraft closer than ever before. We have uncovered its secrets, its structure, its temperature, its cycles. And yet, there are still questions we cannot answer. Mysteries that defy the very laws of physics we thought we understood. Puzzles that leave even the greatest scientific minds baffled. The sun is not just a ball of fire, it is an endless vault of knowledge, one that humanity has barely begun to unlock. And among its most perplexing enigmas are these. 1. Why is the sun's outer layer, the corona, hotter than its surface? One of the most fundamental principles of physics states, the farther you move from a heat source, the cooler it should get. But with the sun, that rule is completely broken. The sun's surface, the photosphere, burns at 60 degrees Celsius. Its outer atmosphere, the corona, blazes at over 1000 degrees Celsius. A scientific paradox that has yet to be solved. Imagine this. You stand close to a fire, you feel its heat. But as you take a few steps back, the temperature suddenly increases by hundreds of times. How is that even possible? The leading hypothesis suggests that the sun does not simply radiate heat. Instead, it transfers energy through mechanisms we do not yet fully understand. Some scientists propose that twisting magnetic fields inside the sun are transferring energy outward in ways that classical physics cannot explain. We set the Parker Solar Probe straight into the corona itself, hoping for answers. But so far, we are still in the dark. 2. The sun's magnetic flip, when north and south reverse. Earth has a stable magnetic field with a clear north and south pole. But the sun, every 11 years, its magnetic poles completely flip. The north becomes south. The south becomes north. Imagine waking up one day and discovering that your compass now points the wrong way. That is what happens on the sun regularly. This is not just some cosmic oddity. It directly impacts Earth. Every time the sun's magnetic field reverses, solar storms intensify. Plasma eruptions and bursts of radiation become more violent, increasing the risk of blackouts and communication failures on Earth. The auroras grow brighter, but so does the possibility of catastrophic technological failure. We have mapped this cycle, but we do not understand what triggers it. What forces cause the sun's poles to flip? How does this phenomenon affect the broader solar system? Perhaps this is only part of a much larger cycle that we have yet to discover. And perhaps, hidden within it, lies a truth that humanity is not yet ready to face. 3. Can we harvest the sun's energy directly from space? The sun unleashes an unfathomable amount of energy every second, and yet, the amount of sunlight reaching Earth is only a tiny fraction of its true power. What if we could collect that energy directly from space? What if humanity could tap into an endless source of power free from the limitations of fossil fuels? Imagine massive solar panels floating in space, absorbing pure, unobstructed sunlight without interference from the atmosphere. Energy beamed down to Earth via microwaves or lasers, providing limitless power. A world no longer dependent on coal, oil, or even nuclear energy. It sounds like science fiction, but it is not. Since the 1960s, scientists have explored this concept. Japan, China, and the United States are actively working on space-based solar power stations. In June 2023, China announced that they had successfully transmitted electricity wirelessly from space to Earth, a groundbreaking step toward making this vision a reality. But the biggest challenges remain. How do we construct an energy station in space large enough to harness significant power? The solar panels would need to cover an area of several square kilometers. The transmission technology must be precise and safe because if misused, it could become a deadly weapon. And most importantly, are we playing with a force we cannot control? The unanswered mysteries remain. The sun has burned for over 4.6 billion years. It is the heart of our solar system. Yet, there are things about it that we still do not understand. Why is the corona hotter than the surface? What truly drives the sun's magnetic reversals? Can we harness the sun's power safely, or will it be our undoing? We have learned so much, but what we do not know might be far more terrifying. And there is still a larger question lingering in the distance. One day, when the sun begins to change, when it is no longer the familiar star we know today, what will happen to Earth? We like to believe that the sun is eternal, but in the vastness of the universe, nothing lasts forever. The day the sun changes could be the day that humanity faces its greatest challenge yet. What will happen when the sun reaches its final stage? The answer is still ahead. The sun, a colossal torch burning in the cold void of space. It brings light, warmth, and life. But it is also a destroyer, an untouchable force that nothing dares approach. For millions of years, We have gazed upon it. We have worshipped it. We have feared it. And throughout human history, no one ever considered venturing into the heart of a star. But then one day, we decided to break the boundary. A small spacecraft, carrying humanity's ambition, was launched with an unthinkable mission: to dive straight into the inferno of our own star. The brave spacecraft that ventured toward the sun, Parker's solar probe, the boldest spacecraft ever created by humankind. On August 12, 2018, it departed Earth not to explore distant planets, not to search for alien life, but to plunge directly into the flames of the sun itself. It would pierce through the sun's atmosphere, a place no spacecraft had ever dared enter. It would face deadly radiation storms and tornadoes of plasma that could rip apart anything that ventured too close. And above all, it would enter one of the most dangerous regions in the universe, where even the slightest mistake could mean total annihilation. Imagine standing at the edge of an erupting volcano, feeling the air tremble with unbearable heat, watching molten lava cascade down in an unstoppable fury. Now multiply that by millions, and that is only the surface of the sun. Parker didn't just get close to the sun, it raced toward it at 700,000 kilometers per hour, faster than any man-made object in history. At that speed, it could travel from New York to Tokyo in just 1 minute. But even at such an unimaginable velocity, it was still under the sun's dominion. Because the sun is not just a ball of fire. It is a beast, an enormous field of energy, a world where the laws of physics as we know them bend and break. The ultimate challenge, Parker's fight for survival. The devastating heat. As it approached the sun's atmosphere, Parker had to endure temperatures of over 377 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt steel, copper, and even some of the strongest alloys ever created by humans. Yet, thanks to a revolutionary 11.4 centimeters thick heat shield made from carbon composite, Parker was able to withstand the inferno without being vaporized. A barrage of deadly radiation. The sun doesn't just emit light, it bombards space with charged particles moving at incomprehensible speeds. These particles can pierce through metal, fry circuits, and disable any electronic system in an instant. The gravity of a star. It may sound strange, but getting close to the sun is far harder than reaching the edge of the solar system. The sun's immense gravity is so powerful that if Parker did not have the exact speed and trajectory, it would be pulled straight into the core, where even its heat shield would be useless. What are we trying to discover? Parker's solar probe's mission is not just a daring voyage. It holds the key to unlocking some of the sun's greatest mysteries. Why is the corona hotter than the surface? What truly triggers solar storms that could wipe out Earth's electrical grid? Can we predict these eruptions in time to protect civilization? And most importantly, Parker will show us how the sun truly functions, and it will warn us when the sun is about to change forever. The future of humanity. Can we touch the fire of the sun? Could we one day build a spacecraft strong enough to travel even deeper into the sun? Could we harness its power, directly transforming it into an infinite energy source? Or perhaps, one day, we may need the sun to ensure our survival. It sounds insane, but imagine, one day, Earth may no longer be habitable. Geomagnetic storms grow stronger, climate shifts, and the planet can no longer sustain life. What will we do? Maybe we won't leave the solar system. Maybe we will learn to live closer to the sun. Maybe we will find a way to tame the very fire that created us. But before we can dream of the future, we must face one unavoidable truth. The sun has shone for 4.6 billion years. But it is not immortal. One day, it will change. It will become something else. Something unrecognizable, a star unlike the one we have always known. And when that day comes, Earth will no longer be Earth, and humanity will be forced to make its greatest decision. What will happen when the sun enters its final phase? The answer is coming. For thousands of years, we have looked up at the sky, worshiping the light, living under the warmth of the sun, never once asking ourselves, will this light last forever? The sun has been burning for 4.6 billion years. It has witnessed every moment in Earth's history, From the time our planet was just a molten rock, to the formation of oceans, to the birth of life, to the day when humans first looked up and questioned the celestial fire that has always been their guardian. But nothing lasts forever. When the flame dies, what will happen to our world? Our sun is not eternal. It is living through the most stable phase of its life. But deep inside, its hourglass is running out of sand. In 5 billion years, when its fuel runs dry, this star will begin to die. It will swell, transforming into a red giant, engulfing Mercury, Venus, and finally, Earth. No more blue oceans, no more atmosphere, no more life. Everything humanity has ever built, every civilization that has ever risen, will be incinerated. But that is not the end. Once the sun has burned through the last remnants of its fuel, it will shrink into a white dwarf, a cold, lifeless husk, the ashes of a god that once ruled an entire system. It will no longer be the sun we know. It will no longer bring warmth nor light. Only darkness will remain, and the solar system we once called home will die with it. But there is a bigger question. What will happen to us? Will we sit idly by, waiting for the inevitable? Or will we find a way to defy fate? Perhaps, one day, when the sun begins its death throes, humanity will no longer be on Earth. Perhaps we will have left our planet, left the solar system, traveling to a distant place where another star burns bright, a new world, a new sun. And when that day comes, we will look back at the sky, back at where our sun once shone, at the dying remnants of our old star. And we will ask ourselves, was this the end or just the beginning? How much do we really know about the sun? We have uncovered its storms powerful enough to tear apart civilizations. We have sent probes to touch the fire. We have learned the cycles of life and death of a star. But how much do we truly understand? Because there are mysteries that even modern science cannot explain. Laws of nature still waiting to be uncovered. Phenomena that remain beyond our comprehension. And perhaps the sun has never truly revealed itself to us. Perhaps behind its blinding light, there are truths more terrifying than anything we have ever imagined. Do you really think you understand the sun? Do you still believe it is just a simple ball of fire? Or now, every time you look up at the sky, will you feel something different? A sense of curiosity, a sense of awe, a feeling of smallness before a force so immense that we are only beginning to grasp its power. And if the sun, the closest celestial body to us, remains a mystery, what is waiting for us beyond it in the infinite darkness of space? The sun is only the beginning. The universe holds countless more secrets waiting to be uncovered. Are you ready? Stay with us on this journey, because what comes next will be greater than anything we have ever imagined.